Thanks for coming. I'm Kai Lee from UBC. Today I'll have a presentation on self-selection models in corporate finance. So first of all, let me make the following claim that I'm not an expert in the area. When preparing for this set of slides was also a great learning experience or review experience for myself. So I know it's an hour and a half, so I want to make it really dynamic. So I would like you to raise questions in the middle. Anytime I talk, if there's anything unclear, then also put aside some time for Q&A in the end. So here, let me provide you the overview of today's discussion. As my title page actually shows, there is a book chapter. I have like about 60 slides for that book chapter prepared for anybody interested in PhD level course to cover self-selection. But today, I have a different take. So what I have here, only like 10, 15 slides from that lecture notes. The rest actually use most recent examples to make some points. So that's why there are two different sets of slides. So today is just for this meeting. So what I'm going to cover. So first of all, let me define the issue of self-selection in corporate finance from both a statistical point of view as well as from corporate finance point of view. Then I bring in the seminal work of Heckman selection model. Then I introduce different extensions to Heckman's model. I think what's also very interesting is to see these type of models in action. So that's what I add new from my standard lecture notes based on the book chapter. That is, I'm going to highlight, so there is no such input. So I'm going to highlight the big challenge in corporate finance to deal with selection versus treatment effects. And I illustrate that challenge with two very recent papers, kind of shameless self-promotion. One is myself, a paper by myself. The other is from Saru from Chicago. So I'll talk about two examples to try to make a point about the challenge of separating selection versus treatment effects. Finally, I gave some time for Q&A. So what is self-selection? So we all know that corporate decisions are not random. Managers, sometimes literally managers / firms self-select into different corporate events. Good examples including dividends initiation, M&A, share repurchases, and also institutional investors take a stake in a particular firm, etc. So I want to make a point that self-selection by corporations can be dealt with in a statistical setting, but what's more interesting in corporate finance application is self-selection. Addressing self-selection could also help us to identify corporate, like managerial inside information. So here, so that's the point I'm trying to make. So I introduce in corporate world, managers always make decisions based on their private information, and a model of self-selection will allow us to test the existence and the nature of the private information. So that's kind of a new point we made in this book chapter, actually based on a lot of prior work. I'll give you a citation list later on. So here is the setup. So the setup is, for example, we want to estimate a relation for a population of firms. For example, a typical relation, say, firm value, so it could be Tobin's Q on the left-hand side, and the firm so that's Y, and the firm characteristics such as, say, firm size, firm age in the X variable. So that's a typical regression we run all the time in corporate finance. So ordinary least square or generalized least square or weighted least square will do. However, in reality, very often, due to the question we're looking at, we only look at a subset of firms. Say it's just a set of dividend-paying firms or a set of M&A firms. So that's when we observe